Does it sound loud to you?
My ears started going.
So I'm kind of struggling to play this because... G'day, it's Nigel from Sax School. I got 3 mouthpieces here. They kind of look the same, but they're entirely different. And making the choice between these 3 is difficult. I mean, how are you going to know what they're going to even sound like and why you should choose one instead of the other? Well, I was really lucky because Jody Espina from Jody Jazz was here in my studio recently, and we got to spend some time actually blowing through these mouthpieces and discussing them and talking about how they're different. And hopefully that'll help you to make a better mouthpiece choice when you're upgrading, because to be honest with you, changing your mouthpiece is the first thing you can do to improve your sound. So today I've got all that footage for you. Let's dig in. There's loads in there that I think will really help you. So Jody, this is a question that our students struggle with a lot. And I get it because I can remember going through this process too. It's how do we make a good choice when we're upgrading a mouthpiece? And the thing is, I know that most members, like most of our members, will start off with a stock mouthpiece like this. This is a Yamaha 4C. Most generic, unbranded mouthpieces that come in saxophones these days will be probably a copy of this, would you say?
Probably similar. This is a very good choice because it's consistently manufactured and it's going to work. A lot of those copies don't work because they might not be sealing with the reed. So it feels like you have leaks in the horn, but the mouthpiece is leaking.
Gotcha. So, I mean, these are a brilliant mouthpiece and, you know, a great starter mouthpiece. But if you've been playing for like a year or so, then there's a good chance that you're ready for upgrading. And I always say to our members that upgrading the mouthpiece is like the best first upgrade option because you can make the biggest change to your saxophone sound. But the problem is, when we're going to make that upgrade, what do we choose? Because there's so many different options. And they go to the shop and it's like, there's all these different brands. And then there's all these different sizes. And then there's all these different materials. Where do we even start? So I thought maybe if we could have a look at the 4C and then 3 of your really popular hard rubber mouthpieces, which, you know, if you don't know much about mouthpieces, kind of look the same as a 4C. They're black, they're made of a similar sort of stuff, similar sort of shape, but they're entirely different. And so we've got the Custom Dark, we've got the HR Star, and we've got the Jet. So where do we start this process, Jody? If you had a student coming to you saying, I've been playing for a year, I'm ready to upgrade, how do I start this journey?
HR Star, and depending on how much they're practicing, probably 6-star would be the most popular recommendation I would go.
So if I can jump in there, Jody. So what you're talking about, the 6. So the HR Star is this one. This one.
Yeah.
This one. Okay. So that's the model.
Yep.
But they come in different sizes, and so the 6-star is
tip openings, right?
The tip opening.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So and they would range from. Do you even make a 4?
We make we call it a C-star. It's the same as a Selmer, but it's that brighter sound because it's a smaller chamber inside.
Okay.
So, and that could be good. You'll take a Selmer C-star or the Yamaha 4C. You'll have kind of a classical sound probably because it's meant to be quieter.
Okay.
And you could put on the same tip opening, C-star, HR Star.
Okay.
And you'll have a brighter sound. You know, if you're playing music that is usually with a brighter sound, that's what you're going to do.
Okay, so look, I'll tell you what, I'll pop on this C-star and we'll have a listen to what it sounds like.
The 4C.
Oh, sorry, the 4C, the Yamaha 4C.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of struggling to play this because it's a very small, it feels very small compared to what I normally use. And actually, this mouthpiece is pretty loose on my cork. So I don't normally play on this mouthpiece.
But still sounds good. He sounds good on every mouthpiece. That's the problem.
He's just being polite because I've given him coffee. If I was playing on this mouthpiece, and maybe this would help you, maybe this is what you're thinking as well when you're thinking that you want to upgrade your mouthpiece. I can, if I work at it, get a nice sound on this mouthpiece. But I don't get as many color options. I can't make it do a big growly rock and roll thing or a good smooth jazz sound. I can get a great concert band sound or a classical sound.
It's got a lid on it. It can only go so much.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to stop.
So would you say then, if we're going to talk about now the first upgrade alternative, as I'm breaking things here.
HR Star.
Okay, so I'm in your shop and saying, okay, you've told me to try this one. So tell me then, Jody, what am I going to like about this mouthpiece? Why is it better than my 4C?
If you're playing music that's more popular, jazz, almost any music that's not classical, you're going to want to be able to go that more above that ceiling that mouthpiece is putting you on. And it'll give you more of that jazzy sound, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
So it's going to be brighter and louder.
Brighter and louder. Well, let's see.
And there's going to be this sense of freedom that you have when you blow into that, like you were saying, that closed down feeling that you had. So it should be this open feeling.
Well, let's find out. Let's have a listen.
I'm not sure how big of a difference they heard, when it gets there, but here's a very big difference.
Yeah. Would you say it's louder than that one?
It's louder, yes.
Yeah.
It's brighter.
And to me, it feels like I can, I don't know, I can get more variety of colors out of it. And it's brighter. It may be even a little bit brighter than what I would normally play, but it's certainly a lot more exciting. But what I do like about this mouthpiece, though, and I bet it's why it's such a popular mouthpiece for you, is it's actually still really easy to control, even though it's got that extra volume and brightness.
It's an easy transition. That's, probably the easiest transition if you're coming from that classical style mouthpiece to a jazz mouthpiece. HR Star is probably the easiest transition.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. So what we're talking about here is one option then is the HR Star in a 6-star.
And again, we mentioned this in another video, but go to the charts under resources, the tip opening charts, and if you're practicing 4 to less hours, go in the pink zone. That's the tip opening in there. If you're practicing 5 to 8 hours or something, go in the green zone. That's the most popular tip opening, which would be a 7-star.
Okay.
But if you're not getting that practice, and be honest, some weeks somebody gets 1 hour, the next week they get 3, so because you're going to get, when the tip opening is too big, you have to use too much muscle, you don't have the conditioning, and you get it feels.
Yeah. And there's no shame in having a smaller tip opening either.
Ben Webster played like 4-star, 3-star, all those
3-star,
guys.
really?
Yeah, those guys played a very small mouthpiece that had huge sound.
Wow.
It's totally possible. It's really finding that comfort zone. If you, in the perfect world, you have all the tips and you just blow them and you pop on one of them. So, but if you don't practice enough, play a 5-star, 6-star.
Interesting. That's good. It's tough for all us blokes though, because we get all testosterone gets going. We want to get it big. Bigger is better, right?
The sound, when I do my job right, the sound doesn't change much. The bigger tip opening gives a little more sound, a little bit. But I'm in old style molded mouthpieces. They didn't change them inside, so it got darker and darker the bigger you got, but everybody thinks big tip opening is going to get big sound. It's not exactly true.
Okay. Very important. Okay, great. So let's say that I want something a bit darker than this. Let's say that I want to upgrade my mouthpiece.
Yeah.
But I still play in a concert band, or I like real standard straight ahead jazz. And I want something a bit darker than this. Like what's of the 3 mouthpieces we're looking at here is a good option?
HR Star Custom Dark.
Okay.
Big open round chamber, rounded sidewalls. This Shedville rubber is nice and soft. It's a little darker. Real pretty.
So, and the same logic applies for the tip openings with this as well?
Yeah. And as that big chamber, it could be a half a size even smaller because you're going to be putting more air into a big chamber. pretty.
I really like with this mouthpiece, I can play down the bottom end of the sax and get a really nice sort of smooth, warm sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. And does it sound, the volume sound lower to you?
A little bit, but this is what happens when you have a really great player. You put any mouthpiece on and they're going to immediately mold it somewhat to their tone conception. So we put these mouthpieces to, let's say, an intermediate player, it's going to sound like night and day on each piece.
Okay.
And it because you just can't help it. You got to sound good to what you think, and so you make every mouthpiece sound more similar than dissimilar.
All right, that's interesting. So what about if you were that intermediate player that wanted the darker sound, but thought, you know what, every other weekend I play in a rock band. Will this mouthpiece limit me so that I can't get that bright sound?
Well, I would say, if you're on the rock band, the sound guy we know is not giving them monitor. The singer's got all the monitor. Keyboard players playing loud. They have knobs. You don't have any knobs. You just have your mouthpiece. You have yourself. And you feel buried. It's no fun to play and not hear yourself. So in that rock band, I would say go with the Jet.
Okay, good. So this is the third option that we're talking about today of these three mouthpieces. So the Jet. What makes the Jet, apart from the fact that it's got this cool thing on the side, which makes it look a bit dangerous, what makes this different?
Yeah. Well, if we looked inside, we would see a very small chamber. Big chamber here, going to be much darker. It's like the hose where the water's coming out. It just goes like this. But when you make that opening small with your thumb, it goes fast and hard. So that air, bam, and it gives you a louder, brighter sound. So this is quite a small chamber. Right. I always say about this mouthpiece, it looks so small, I say it's not as stupid as it looks. Because this mouthpiece can have a real full tone.
All right. Well, let's hear what it sounds like.
But it can really blast, and that's the cool thing about that. So maybe blast on it, but then play pretty and see how it sounds too.
All right, so I'll see if I can get a range of sounds out of it. Yeah, okay, so it's definitely got a lot more edge to it, doesn't it? Got loads more edge to it, and to me it sounds a lot louder. Does it sound loud to you?
My ears started going, and so I know it's louder that way.
Yeah, okay. You can really push this. I bet if you were playing in a rock band or a pop band, something like that, you could really cut through with this mouthpiece.
But you sounded perfectly fine at the end, very pretty.
The beginning bit sounded a bit dodgy.
Not at all. So, but what I'm saying is that's not like a paint peeler that you can't tame. And each of them, did they feel different? Each felt different?
Oh, so different to me. I mean, absolutely. From my point of view, yeah, they do feel very, very different. And I think getting back to the original question, that is the probably, to me, the biggest thing that's most important when you are upgrading your mouthpiece. Because, like we've already said, the Yamaha 4C is a great mouthpiece. But when you upgrade to something that's a bit more, a better designed mouthpiece, it makes playing so much more fun. And you're going to want to pick up your saxophone and play because you'll be so excited about the different sounds that you can get out of the instrument.
That's the thing. When you don't even want to stop playing or you go against the wall and listen because you love the sound. Now, for me, I would be playing 3 different reeds on those or 4 different reeds on those mouthpieces to optimize each. Like I like a softer reed on the Jet, a medium reed on the HR Star, and I like a little harder to bring out the fuzziness or the airiness of the Custom Dark. But that's just me like trying to optimize what that mouthpiece is made for. What you're saying, like that feel when you fall in love with a mouthpiece, that's why this thing is worthy pursuit. Finding that mouthpiece. It's not a gimmick. It's like it's like when you get a reed that you love. You're so sorry it's going to wear out someday. It's like that.
Yeah, but even better because your mouthpiece doesn't wear out.
It doesn't wear out.
I
know you were recording.
It's recording.
Okay.
You love making videos, don't you?